and welcome to the MXGP of Qatar, round 1 of the FIA Motocross World Championship. And this Lusail International Motocross Circuit, the MXGP of Qatar at Lusail International Motocross Circuit, then the host for the opening round of the 2014 MXGP of the season. And it's the MXGP of Qatar. We are in a country about the third of the side of Belgium, on the western shore of the Arabian Gulf, surrounded by sea almost completely, but bordering Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. But it's been pretty warm during the day, around about 27, 28 degrees, chilly at night, around 20, 21, something like that. And if you're just joining us for the first time, here's what happened in MXGP Race 1. It was a tight box hole shot to call between Kevin Strybos and Max Nagel, but Nagel wasted no time finding a way past the Suzuki number 22 of Kevin Strybos, who was the early leader here. Nagel was in around about third position, with Tony Cairoli there, number 222 on the KTM, in around about 5th or 6th place, trying to close down the number 12 on the HRC Honda. And HRC back with a vengeance. He found his way back past his teammate, Evgeny Bobryshev here, number 777, with Max Nagel. But HRC back with a bang in 2014. Gauthier Paulin found a way into third place with that pass on the Russian, as the challenge for the lead ended right there. Max Nagel on the number 12 HRC machine found a way past the Rockstar Energy Suzuki of number 22 Strybos, pushing him back into second. Paulin, the 21 on the Kawasaki, was in third. Cairoli survived this moment in fourth on the 222 Red Bull KTM, as he went after the three guys ahead of him. Gauthier Paulin eventually moved his way into second by lap 7 with that outside manoeuvre on 22 Strybos, and then it wasn't long before Cairoli found a way through, and Stephen Frossard was also queuing up just behind on the 183 Kawasaki. Frossard eventually came home to finish in 4th place. Strybos dropped down to 7th. Tony Cairoli and Gauthier Paulin battled for a number of laps, 7 or 8 laps or so, over that second place. Sometimes Gauthier Paulin on the 21 Monster Energy Kawasaki would open up and slightly extend his gap over the Italian 7-time world champion. Cairoli would close it right back again, all the time being pushed by the 183, the second factory Kawasaki Monster Energy machine of Stephen Frossard. Cairoli, though, eventually did find a way through. It's just a matter of biding his time and trying to suss out the lines of 21 Gauthier Paulin, trying everything he knew. Eventually found a way through, made a mistake, and that allowed Frossard to close in. Gave Gauthier Paulin just a little bit of breathing space, but once again Cairoli landed, turned tighter, squared off the Frenchman, and was through into second, and then set about Max Nagel, but he just ran out of time. Got it down to about half a second, 3/4 of a second, made a couple of mistakes on the final lap. Tony Cairoli and Max Nagel rounded out the final few turns on that HRC machine and was able to win by 1.9. So it was a win for Nagel. Cairoli, that was third.
It's time for the second MXGP race of the evening. We'll see who the GP winner is going to be for the first one, the 2014, but the KRT manager, Francois Lemery, joins me now. Francois, we're going to have a quick chat about your riders. You've got a new addition to the team this year, is Stephen Frossard, and I think he's made a real strong comeback this year. It almost looks as though his confidence levels have lifted.
Yeah, we know that Stephen Frossard can do well. I think he shows that he will be back. We can count on him for all the season, so it's really good. It's what we expect from him.
And a quick word on Gauthier?
Gauthier is at the place we expect, so it's really good start of the season. After we have to keep the consistent to fight for the title.
Thanks, Francois. I appreciate that. Poor Francois is sick, and I made him speak to me. Right, let's see what happens in race 2.
Here's how the riders line up then for the second MXGP race. Kevin Strybos was the qualifying heat race winner on Friday night. Gauthier Paulin was second. Kenny Bobochev on the Honda was third. Stephen Frossard was fourth. Davide Guarnieri on the TM was in fifth place. A brand new machine for the Italians this year. New chassis, different fuel tank design and filter location. Not too dissimilar to the Yamaha in terms of where they're located. Max Nagel qualified in sixth, but it was obviously good enough for him to get out of the start and take the race win in Moto number 1 earlier this evening. Cairoli crashed on the first lap and got through to seventh, so he will go to line 7. Ahead of Kevin Sal, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and David Philipparts, the world champion. Tony Cairoli just looking very tentative down there. As the leader's mechanic from the waiting zone. There's Evgeny Bobryshev, HRC Honda. Just trying to psych himself up just a little bit. The big Russian. 1 GP went to his name. Teushenthal 2 years ago. There is that new TM. Fuel tank under the seat, airbox behind the front number plate where the gas tank used to be, new chassis, new engine. It's been ridden by Davide Guarnieri, number 39, and the number 3 of Tanel Leok. As we look at Tony Cairoli, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing 222, the 7-time world champion. There's your winner of yesterday's qualifying race, the guy who drew first pick, took pole position, number 22, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MXGP rider Kevin Strybos. And they're not going too far up the inside, more sort of centrally located. Number 89, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Yamaha Factory Racing, under the watchful eye of Michele Rinaldi. And alongside him, number 91 on the Wilvo Forkrent KTM of Matis Caro, who had a bit of a disappointing first race in Moto number 1. Not entirely sure why, but obviously he'll be hoping for better. Lasted around about 6 laps. And then went missing off the radar, so either a crash or a technical issue there, but like I say, he'll be hoping for a little bit better. There's Stephen Frossard, the Monster Energy Kawasaki teammate to Gauthier Paulin there alongside him. And those two boys finished in 3rd and 4th in Moto number 1, and Clement de Sal very quiet in Moto number 1, finishing in 9th on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki machine. Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com joins me again. Adam Wheeler, any news circulating from the first race in MXGP? Obviously Nagel, we know, was just amazing. Cairoli had his work cut out, bad start, but just left it too late. Gauthier Paulin, Stephen Frossard, 3rd and 4th, just rode safe, I guess. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, bad start, but no other problems. Tommy Searle again, not getting out the start. But what about de Sal? What was his problem? Do we know?
No, but he's pretty angry, so watch out for him in this moto. I mean, he had 2 small crashes, I think, or one, at least one. Wasn't happy with the start either, or the way he rode. When he's in that kind of mood, you don't really want to chat with him for too long.
Well, the Monster Energy 15-second board is about to go up. Remember, it's 25 for a win, 22 for second, 20 for third, 18, 16, 15, 14, and then single digits right the way down to 20th place. And
whole shot opinion?
The Foxhead Whole Shot Awards.
Come on.
It was very tight last year, wasn't it? It was Xavier Borg and
name, Paul, give me a name.
And Strybos. So we need a clear-cut winner, and I'm not able to give you that at the moment. Max Nagel.
Right, okay, 2 Hondas.
2 Hondas.
And there they are, 777 and number 12. Here
and
we
watch
go.
it, and you watch Kevin Strybos, number 22, just prove us all wrong. MXGP race 2 gets underway, and it's going to be, is it Green that gets the first turn first? I think it's, oh, somebody goes down there, I think, or not. On the inside.
Was that KTM? Oh, is that Matis Caro in 2nd place? Yep, on the STR KTM.
Thought somebody went down on the first turn, just lost the front end on the inside of the 2 Kawasaki's. But Paulin leads away at the moment.
Patrick Kawasaki 1 and 2, Paul. I think Tony Cairoli also in there.
Yeah. Well, Gauthier Paulin, Caro it was, 91 on the Wilvo Forkrent. KTM, Frossard 3rd, Bobryshev 4th, Nagel 5th, Cairoli, Searle, de Sal, Simpson in 9th, Guarnieri in 10th, Van Hoorbeek down in 11th position.
And Strybos down in 14th after taking that whole shot on the first moto ball.
Jake Nichols obviously riding with a back injury down in 20th place at the moment in this opening lap. And Jake Nichols in Moto number 1 came home in 16th with what was a very brave ride. Cairoli just taking a look to his left. Was that Nagel? I think it was, yes.
So 2 factory Kawasaki's leading the way. That's Madis Caro in 3rd place, Kai Rowley in 4th. Just behind there are the Hondas.
So just wait for these guys to fan out a little bit, but yeah, the 2 factory Hondas behind Tony Cairoli on that Red Bull KTM, but Kawasaki 1 and 2, a 6th Francois Lemarié, giving us a pre-run interview, said both guys pretty much where he wants them to be. And he's definitely going to be liking this, but
big case.
That was a big case for Gauthier Paulin. That was high impact through the wrist, and I'm surprised he didn't smash the face on the handlebar. Maybe he did, but a big moment there as both the Kawasaki's went over the quad jump. You've got some idea of the height of it. It's a big stretch on any bike. And Max Anstey, the only guy to get over it in MX2. So,
Frossard going for the lead, sorry, and he's got it. Just got better squared off there, Paul. Maybe Pauline smarting a little bit from that one. Oh, back up the inside.
Love lost here between these two boys. Francois Lemarié, the team manager down at KRT, is going to be pulling his hair out, Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, Stephen Frossard, when was the last time we saw him lead a Grand Prix? It must be back in 2012, 2011. Look at them side by side here, both French, both factory Kawasaki riders. This is...
I'm hoping that it's not a Hayden Pedrosa moment.
Nick Hayden here, of course, watching this Grand Prix.
And he's probably thinking, oh, this is a bit
familiar. Yeah. Third place, I mean, these 2 riders are having it by themselves at the moment, Paul. Cairoli's moved up to 3rd. They're in the back of the shot. And Cairoli was not so happy after the first motor pull. I mean, he had a very sort of ashen, painful face. I think he had just tweaked that left ankle that he injured in the Italian Championship 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's not been, well, I don't say it's been below par, but definitely took a longer time than expected to get himself up to the front and challenge Max Nagel for the win. Again, another 5 minutes. The difference between last year and this year in race times might have been the difference between that happening, but you know, them's the rules, and that's what you've got to abide by. As Max Nagel is still tailing Mattis Caro. Caro not here last year, of course, picked up an arm injury the week before he came here. That ride went to Jamie Law, remember?
Yeah. And Nagel, you know, when's he going to start to have a look at the standings here? We're really early in the race, Paul, but with Paulin,
he is through actually.
Cairoli ahead of him. He's going to have to try and reverse that, isn't he?
Yeah. So Cairoli then across the line in 3rd. Right, just look to the inside. What's it? Somebody just going down.
Who caught your eye here? Somebody caught your eye. I mean, it's a great start from Caro, really.
No, it just must have been shadows and that kind of thing, but...
No, you're there, the hit. That was a hit by Frossard on Paulin. Sent the Kawasaki just like a little bit wide. You're not going to see it from this angle, but keep an eye on 21 and 183 here. Is it going to come out short? You can watch Frossard, just give Paulin a little...
So I wasn't far off. But Gauthier Paulin then leads his teammate Stephen Frossard in what is a factory Kawasaki 1-2. A little bit of close to comfort there, front to back wheels between the 2 Frenchmen as well. It's not like a training run, is it, between these 2 guys? Too early to say, obviously, but Cairoli obviously 5 seconds back in 3rd place. Nagel 4th, looking for a way through on Cairoli, but you can see Cairoli just holding the advantage as they come under the iPhone banner. And then Van Hoorwijk in 5th. He could do with getting a little bit higher up in this moto, but already clear, you know, head and shoulders above where he was last year, carrying an injury last year, of course. Van Hoorwijk, Bobryshev 6th, Caro 7 now, Desale, Tommy Searle 9, Simpson 10, Philippart, Strybos, Guarneri, Roulans, Todd Waters, a brave ride again for him at 15 on the factory Husqvarna. His teammate Tyler Rattray out with that broken finger, giving him too much jip. Xavier Borg, Jake Nichols now 17, Tano Leon, Jens Getzmann, Ruben Salves down in 20th place for Bike with Cosmic Yamaha.
Just watching Tony Cairoli. I wonder how much that ankle is bothering him, Paul. I mean, we've seen him ride injured before, and it's never really seemed to impede his performance that much. He's able to dictate the strategy of a race. He leads from the front, he pulls the pin when he wants to, he can follow somebody, he can pressure somebody. In the first race, you know, there were a couple of laps where obviously he was riding hurt because he wasn't able to make the pass on Gauthier Paulin and go after Max Nagel. So, you know, is he going to be able to catch the Kawasaki's? This is the question here, because they're setting a mean pace. 150s, everybody else behind them, 152s.
But Tony Cairoli very rarely goes at the drop of the hat, does he? You know, he takes a few laps to get himself dialed in, and if he's within sort of 5 or 6 seconds by a certain point, then he's happy to reel that back in. So
I think so, Paul. We've seen enough races where he's made a good start and disappeared.
Well,
you know, that's
more often than not, I think. But the problem he's got is the ground now is so hard and slick and loose that if he does lose front end traction, you instinctively put your foot down just to stop yourself from going any further. And if that's your left foot, you can catch a hole, and it's going to be hard ground, and it could tweak it again. And it sends that shockwave through your body momentarily, the way you just think, ooh, you know, and it just brings that sharp jab back where it might just take his eye off the ball, then he gives him another half a lap or so to get back into the rhythm. But
well, he said as much yesterday, didn't he? He said he had to change kind of his thinking a little bit because he was just being a bit too paranoid about the ankle. But you know, just watching here, Paul, 183, Stephen Frossard behind us, a really nice story there because this is his 4th season in MXGP in the Premier class. The first season he nailed it, you know, on a factory Yamaha, finished runner-up. But then second season blew out a knee, so missed the whole year. Last year was a succession of calamities, really. A broken foot, he re-injured the knee. I mean, he pretty much vanished off our radar, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, the potential's there. He's still quite young. I think he's 26 years old. So, you know, a former MX2 GP winner, former MX1 GP winner. So Frossard has the potential, and Kawasaki believed in him to give him that factory bike. And, well, you know, these first minutes of 2014, he's paying it back.
And Max Nagel, is he closing in on Tony Cairoli? It was about a second or so, wasn't it? It still looks to be about the same as Cairoli comes over the line. There's your overall head stands at the moment, Paul-Anne Nagel, Cairoli. So 43-42. But you know, we'll check again in just a moment as more riders come over the line as to whether that could change in terms of Nagel's situation. Of course, it will if Cairoli goes past one or both of the Kawasaki's, because then he'll have a race win in a second, so no question. But
if we get a close-up here of Tony Cairoli, look at his lid and also his boots, because he's got some shiny LEDs in those. You can see the city mark and also the aero on the back there. They're all kind of lit up. So he likes his bling as the world champion.
Better close-up than on a wide shot camera, because I'd not noticed.
Yeah, it's all lit up. You know, you can just, like, you know, if you see him in the corner, you'll just see the helmet and the boots shining away.
So still too early to say with 22 minutes plus 2 laps. Adam Wheeler on track off-road, but Gauthier Paulin and Stephen Frossard, you know, it's a big risk, isn't it, for Gauthier Paulin to have someone like Stephen Frossard on the team that could challenge for wins and championships and everything else. But at the end of the day, that's why Kawasaki are there, like KTM. They're there to win titles, they're there to win GPs. They're not bothered which one wins, but is there favouritism in that team? Does Paulin hold the hierarchy?
But I think you have to look at the situation in which Stephen Frossard was signed. You know, he was given pretty much, I wouldn't say a last chance at a factory ride, but he was signed very much as a kind of, okay, you're coming back, you need to get back into the swing of things. Can you show us again that you can win races?
Well, he's making it work for him at the moment, but 21 to go, just about 1.5 seconds between them. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek just going through, and just behind him is Roman Desal, who's now found a way past Evgeny Bobryshev. So Desal up to 6th on that Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MXGP machine there, number 25 in yellow. The HRC rider, number 777, Evgeny Bobryshev, another rider struggling first GP with a slight knock to the ankle. Adam Wheeler obviously had pain with it in the qualifying race and just having to tough it out again like he was last year.
Yeah, twisted right ankle. I mean, they downplayed it quite a bit, didn't they, Honda? I think Max Nagel being in contention for this overall victory has taken the pressure off Bobby a little bit, because Nagel this time last year had a stomach virus and it pretty much wiped him out for the first 4 rounds. So, you know, this is a quietly consistent start for Bobryshev, which after some bad luck in the last 2 years of injury, he needs. You know, he needs to get that rhythm going. I think it was 3 podiums in a row he got towards the end of last year. So that's the kind of thing he'll be working back up towards.
Just saw a flash of green in the background behind the red Honda of Evgeny Bobryshev. That's the Tommy Searle machine. CLS Kawasaki Monster Energy. Rider number 100. And number 89, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, looking good at the moment in 5th place, but still a couple of seconds adrift of Max Nagel, just ahead of him there on that number 12 factory Honda HRC weapon.
And somehow or other, just looking down the list of the classification so far, we've lost Sean Simpson for British fans, the winner of the last Grand Prix event of 2013. Simpson, I think, was holding a top 10 position, but now he's gone. So
yeah, 9th on the opening lap,
yep.
The first split. So
there's a crash or some sort of problem there. He was 4th in qualification heat yesterday, but then you know, just kind of blew that rear tyre, didn't he?
Well, we're getting to the stage of the race where these guys obviously have done enough laps around this track. They know where the traction is, they know where the lines are, but it's still a very tricky place to come. As you see there, berms are getting blown out, where guys have tried to square off and kicked out the dirt, and obviously doing that to get out of those square choppy holes. And again, they're getting out early, Gauthier Paulin. And there's sometimes an element of risk in that, Adam Wheeler, in that you know, there could be hidden agendas in there, big rocks, stones, that kind of thing, other holes, and it only takes, you know, you to go in thinking, right, I can turn off here and catch that with the front wheel, and they're down. You know, it's not a loss of concentration as much as just, and again, not exactly poor line choice, but just trying to avoid already the very difficult obstacles that are thrown at them at the moment, you know.
Also, these are experienced professional sport, where there are sections on this track where they're really attacking, and it's the ground is entirely predictable. But otherwise, like you say, it's a little bit of a lottery in places, and it's frustrating riders like Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, who said after the first race, listen, I'm just going to accept this, you know. I'm going to take this 5th position because I don't want to end up on the ground.
Yeah. As I said, he came here injured last year, didn't he, Van Hoorbeek? So, you know, from that side of things, he'll want to at least go here a slightly better place than he was last year. Tony Cairoli, you know,
he's done a 51. I mean, he's the fastest. Oh, well, apart from Van Hoorbeek, he's the fastest rider in this front group. And, you know, we saw a bit of a gap between the leaders a moment ago. So maybe Frossard is just kind of easing off into that kind of wingman role, if you like. But Nagel wanting to pass Cairoli, this could be in the situation for the podium, Paul. I mean, this could have repercussions.
But he's going to have to go with Cairoli, isn't he? There was nothing wrong with the speed in motor number
one.
Look
at Paul Anders going for that quad again.
Yeah, and Frossard not able to get over it. So, you know, maybe just starting to assert his authority as he limbers up here with just over 17 minutes plus 2 to go. So still more than 20 minutes in a race, Adam. About half distance, maybe approaching that point. But, you know, it's a bit of a Kawasaki show at the moment. Tony Cairoli, look at that. Just the whole pit lane straight almost. But I said it, I think he's going to be a threat. I think he'll at least get Frossard for second. And we'll see him closing in. He'll either just pass him final lap or just run out of time like he did in motor number 1 if it's the case of him and Paulin. But we saw those two have great battles, particularly Maggiora last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, really got the crowd motivated and enthusiastic. And it was an absolute spectacle down there in Italy. But
I mean, Paulin as well, Paul, he's very hard to pass, you know. He's a big guy, he's got a very talky 450, and that was the situation in Maggiora in Italy last year, where Tony Cairoli was on his rear wheel for so long, but just couldn't really find the, you know, the momentum out of a corner or off a jump to pass him and take the lead. But, you know, we're right at the beginning of this season, but Paulin is already saying, listen, I'm ready to fight for this, I'm ready to push you. You know, you may be hurt or struggling a little bit, but I'm going to be faultless. Is that the commentator's curse of like 16 minutes left in this moto?
I'm saying nothing. There's the podium still. Paulin would lead from Nagel and Cairoli, and that would be the second time that Paulin would have held a red plate. Of course, Faenza, the mud in 2009, being the last time.
Good shout. That was MX2 class.
Yeah, one race only. Tano Leon was the other one on the Red Bull Yamaha, Cairoli's teammate.
Oh, they were atrocious conditions. It might have been the rainiest GP ever.
Yeah.
You know when people are struggling to make it up hills, that it's a wet one.
So Max Nagel,
redemption.
What can he do about Tony Cairoli here?
Very much Max is back. Which, you know, for German motocross is a good thing, because, you know, Ken Roxon's really lighting up the scene over the other side of the Atlantic. So, you know, back in Europe, to have Max Nagel firing all cylinders is great for the German Grand Prix going back to Tuchenthal this year. And, you know, he's been kind of part of the furniture, really, Max, hasn't he, from such a young age.
And as you touched on earlier, it pretty much started here, picking up a bug, food poisoning, stomach upset, or whatever it was, taking no chances this weekend, packing his own food, bringing his own drink, making his own meals.
Baked beans in the suitcase. And
just, you know, like I say, taking no chances. I joked with him, I said, did you bring your own picnic? And he went, actually, yes, I did. All serious and stern.
That ended the conversation then, really, didn't it?
I was like, okay, well, anything I should know about?
Care to share?
He was talking star meals and all the rest of it that we get from Loma. I'm thinking, that's no more than M&S that you'd buy from, you know, the homemade sandwiches already. So it's not like you're preparing your own meals, is it, really?
I mean, Paul, you mentioned earlier on this is like a Kawasaki training ride. It really is, you know. Nobody's getting close enough to threaten these guys, to apply any pressure, and, you know, it's going to be a fantastic result for this team. It was actually sponsored by, you know, the QMF in the first Grand Prix here last year. Those bikes were white, weren't they?
Yeah, white Kawasaki's, yeah, absolutely. But 14 to go, and Gauthier Paulin then, and Stephen Frossard. There's Tommy Searle just going through, but Paul and Frossard, Cairoli third, Nagel fourth, and Horbeek fifth as we look at Bobashev. And yeah, Simpson obviously out after 4 laps, so, or 4 laps ago maybe, but Paul and Frossard, Cairoli, Nagel, Van Horbeek 5, DeSalle 6, Bobashev 7, Tommy Searle 8, Caro having a great ride in 9th place on that Wilvo Forkrent KTM over the step. Not seen too many riders do that. You know what? Boutron did that in the race. Getting over the step. Normally what's happening?
Caro!
Oh, we were talking there. Being in 9th place and having a good ride, but it was that Strybos putting him down.
Well, taking him wide. I mean, it was... The thing was, a Strybos went on the inside, so it was a strange line to come out that far.
So lost 2 places, one to Strybos, one to Guarnieri. I think Philipparts may have gone through as well. So commentator's curse strikes all over again.
Well, I mean, just looking at these 2 leaders again, Paul, you've got Gauthier Paulin currently winning this Grand Prix overall, Max Nagel 2nd place, and Tony Cairoli in 3rd. Now, Stephen Frossard, who is in 2nd place chasing Gauthier Paulin, needs another 2 points to grab on the podium, which means he either needs to pass his teammate or Tony Cairoli needs to drop down.
Yeah, and if he passes his teammate, that costs Kawasaki an overall Grand Prix win and all the bragging rights of the red plate, and you know everything that goes with it, images and papers.
But what does that matter to a rider when he wants a podium?
Well, that's it. You know, he probably doesn't know that, does he?
No, he doesn't care either. You're like, I'll finish on the podium.
At the end of the day, he's going for the race winners, Frossard, you know. Oh, the new TM of Davide Guarnieri goes down, and obviously he rode good in the qualifying race yesterday. He was 2nd for a few laps before dropping down and you know, and then getting it back there. But obviously, unfortunate for him, he'd just gone past Caro while Caro was picking himself up. So at least that's another rider that Mattis Caro doesn't have to worry about. Where is Caro now? Down in 15th place. So Nichols just behind him on the Will Vonestern, so the same team as so the 2 teammates, Linus Stern, Xavier Bourg, 24 MX Honda, Gonçalves on the bike at Cosworth Yamaha, Clement Gertcher and Davide Guarnieri. Obviously, we know he's out. So,
and for British fans, Jake Nichols just trying to get through this Grand Prix. Many points as possible. Obviously, nursing an injured back. Said last week he could barely ride through pain, so it's not actually been too bad here. But the track is very gnarly in some of those landings and takeoffs, so it's just trying to get through it.
In warm-up this afternoon, about midway through, he cased the triple in the quad section, bounced, was unseated, lost his hand on the handlebar and was wrestling Max Anstey style a la Lausitzring last year, ran off track and saved it. And I just thought, you do not need that when you've got a back problem like you have.
I'm sure it did it the world of good. But I mean, he's out there riding, so, you know,
well, you know,
full respect to Jake for that.
As we said in your podcast, Adam, you know, if there's one guy who's going to ride through the pain barrier, it's Jake Nichols. And again, he was 16th in Moto 1, he's 16th in Moto 2, so that's going to be 10 points to his World Championship tally. And that's 10 points better than nothing, so it was worth the effort, worth the trip, and it shows, you know, the team that he's riding for now, you know, Steve Turner, who runs that team at Wilvo Forkrent, that, you know, I am here to mean business, and I do want to do well, and I want to score as many points as possible. It's all about championship position. So
but let's underline the fact, sorry, Paul, that you know, Jake Nichols is the only rookie in this class to move up from MX2 this year.
All change next year, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there's 9 or 10 of them. It's going to be a case. I mean, it's going to be a real team's market for rider signatures for 2015. And there's Strybos. Maybe he's going to be disappointed. He was in such control during the qualification heat for the first pole position of 2014 yesterday. Said after the first moto that his arms just locked up. I mean, he's been saying pre-season that he's got the best 450s ridden. I think, Kevin, there's not many more riders in this field that have more experience than him at Grand Prix, even though he's only 28.
Well, he was 18 when he went into MX1, wasn't he? For Suzuki.
16 when he was running a 125. So, you know, and he said the bike is that good, it's that strong. You know, in the first moto, he got the arm pump and his arms just locked up, and he was maintaining rhythm rather than pushing and going forward. Bo, there's his mechanic there, just keeping an eye on the 22. You know, maybe slightly unlucky to miss the Belgian Motocross of Nations team at the end of 2013, but, you know, they got the job done anyway, didn't they?
Well, yeah, and, you know, we had similar scenarios when, you know, when we eventually won it, there were a lot of people saying he should have gone, they should have gone, and everything else, but fortunately we got a result and that kind of put an end to it. So, you know, country first, pride afterwards, isn't it? So. But Kevin Strybos can't be disappointed with his weekend so far after, you know, being injured a few weeks ago. But with 9 to go, it's Paul and Frossard, Cairoli, Nagel and Van Horbeek. Well, as we look at the 22 of Kevin Strybos on that Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MXGP machine, just looking down on the timing screen, Todd Waters, who had just had the biggest crash yesterday at the end of the wave section going into turn 3 in the qualifying race, knocked himself out, proper detuned himself out of Wheeler.
It was back to Australia, didn't he? Knocked himself back there.
Oh, it was just a horrendous crash. You know, he didn't move for a good, few seconds, 10 seconds maybe, and was stretching away, but gave the thumbs up eventually later on that night, and didn't know if he was going to ride. And like I say, very battered and bruised. He battered his way through to 14th in moto number 1, and here he is, just riding through the pain barrier, and intent in his first GP season with the Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna Petrol Racing team, teammate with Tyler Rattray, but he was obviously expecting to be, I would have thought, somewhere in the top 10 in both races. That would have been his wish list. And here he is, second hand, maybe even third hand, he's on the scrappy at the moment in terms of the way he's feeling. And knocking on the door, he's in the top 10 position, about 16 seconds down on Kevin Strybos, so barring any of those guys dropping out, he's not going to progress from there, but he's just found a way past Villa Parts a couple of seconds ago in time on the timing chart, and he might just be able to ride that out for the next 8 minutes or so.
Yeah, Todd Waters' very first Grand Prix, and it's also significant because 10th place is the first top 10 for Husqvarna in the MXGP Premier class. But another Australian, Luke Stike, reigning Australian champion, also a complete rookie to World Championship racing, struggling with a viral infection. He barely completed laps in the MX2 moto. So the Aussies, it's been a tough baptism for them.
This second MXGP race possibly looking like it's going to reach some kind of crescendo here, because with 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go, Max Nagel on that HRC full factory Honda looks to be closing down ever so slightly. Antonio Cairoli on that Red Bull KTM factory machine just ahead of him there, the flash of orange. But look at that, Adam Wheeler just behind Jeremy Van Hoorbeek has been chipping away, and he's within striking distance of the German number 12, Max Nagel himself. So we could potentially see maybe a three-way battle for that third and finals podium spot in this second MXGP race. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 3 riders here separated by tenths, Paul, so they're all still pushing hard. They're all still, not letting up. I mean, it's the final phases of the race and also the Grand Prix. So it's going to be difficult to call, but I really would be very surprised if Max Nagel finds a way past Tony Cairoli. I just can't see it happening.
And already in the space of about a third of a lap, that gap looking like it's opening up, and Max Nagel, if he's not careful, is definitely going to be coming under the watchful eye of the number 89, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, who I have to say looks great on the bike. He looks smooth, he looks relaxed, and in his demeanour, you see him walking around the paddock, he's more more open and more relaxed as well, and that's got to help, hasn't it?
I mean, when it comes to someone like Max Nagel trying to pass the 7 times world champion, when you see those numbers on his back, the 222, did you have a scenario in your career, Paul, where you saw visually a rider in front of you, maybe a legend of the sport, or someone you held in awe, and it was kind of difficult to go past, or not difficult, but you kind of thought, well,
I think from my side, when I was 18 and did my first 500cc World Championship Grand Prix, it's not that I didn't respect the older guys that I was racing with, so the Eric Laports, Jill Jobets, Dave Thorpes, Kurt Nichols, those, Jackie Martins even. Just I knew the British guys, but I didn't really know the rest of the guys. So I just kind of went in there with no fear. Had a couple of years out in injury wilderness and poor performances and everything else, get a little bit older, get a bit more mature. And there are guys then that burst onto the scene that have that authority. And I think it was then, after having those knockbacks 3 years in a row, that you start to think like that a little bit. And it is tough, but I guess that's why some people are champions and some aren't. And just going back to that point, it wasn't really until maybe 94 when I was playing around on the 125 leading up to the Motocross Nations that I was actually getting pretty confident in terms of, feel good on this bike. And if we go to the Nations and if I get the top 5 positions in terms of who I was going to be riding with in that class, then I might consider switching from 3 years of 250 to 125, so going from 500 to 250 to 125, and of course I went out and won both races, so I entered 95 in a world of confidence. But then at the start of the year, I broke my my knuckle on the outside of my right hand, the small one, and that pushed me back 3 or 4 weeks in training terms. So again, I was having to play catch up just as my confidence was back.
That's exactly what the problem. Why Tyler Rattray's not in this race. A broken finger, two bones moving around there. Oh, where's the Sal going? I'm just looking at that image, Paul, while you were talking, and I was just thinking, replay, Tommy Searle, Clement de Sal, Grand Prix of Finland last year, some tasty action there.
It was, yeah.
But we've come back to the front. I mean, Stephen Frossard, he's again just, he's not even quite a shadow of, in the shadow of Gauthier Paulin.
Quite
Those
literally
kickers
here.
there, you know, just going through it.
And that's the thing, and even there landing, Frossard then just landing on in a horrible braking bump on the downside, right in the centre of that tabletop in the background. But credit, to Kawasaki, they've upped their game, haven't they? And certainly on today's performance, Gauthier Paulin yesterday looked quite relaxed. He knows, I think he's just starting to get it, even though he says it. Sometimes you can go in a race and not, there you go. So it's a double single instead of a single double onto that step. Not many guys getting over that now.
But what you were saying just about the Kawasaki's, Paul, I mean, there's some tasty bikes out there. I mean, the guys have been using since the middle of last season a little kind of prototype start mechanism. That's the pressures, the rear shock out of the gate, not lifting the bike so much, not making it so jerky under power. I mean, things like the factory Honda is Exotica, personified, and you've got like the factory Yamaha, they're using an electric start. It's if you have a good look around and a peek in a few places, which is one of the best things about a motocross GP paddock, you can peer under the covers, so to speak. It's some great stuff there for the tech heads.
Yeah, some great machines. But that's the beauty about it, isn't it? Roger Harvey at the HRC press conference on Thursday afternoon mentioned that in terms of, I think somebody asked questions about what's the difference between what the guys are using in America, Honda Racing, and what they're using here in HRC, and he sort of said, he's had, I don't know if it was for the press conference or how involved those conversations were with Giuseppe Luongo, Youth Stream president, but he was saying that was a heavy landing. But he was saying, I should say to Giuseppe, don't end the prototype rule, because that's where we kind of develop the bikes going forward, where America can't do that.
Well, he used the example of turning the cylinder head on the Honda, I mean, it's stuff that they just can't do like in the AMA, but in Grand Prix, it's just a little bit of a left field for the manufacturers to try new stuff.
Yeah.
Is Nagel going to pass Cairoli here? I still stand by my belief that it will not happen. Unless Cairoli moves over and he's struggling, which, we've rarely seen, it's not going to happen.
It's been about a second or thereabouts for the last 15 minutes, and that's not coming down, and we're, where are they in relation to the finish line? So it's going to be 3 laps to go, isn't it? Yeah. So a minute to go, they'll
it's touch and go, isn't it? It's
yeah.
going to be maximum 4.
Yeah. Well, they're already around the back of the finish line area now, 3 corners from the finish line. It's not going to take them 52 seconds to get to the line, so it will be 3 laps to go next time around. And Gauthier Paulin, who was unlucky last year at the Lausitz Ring to go down the way that he did and knock himself out, and that obviously ruled his title aspirations out, and obviously ruled him out of that GP and the Czech Republic a week or so later. But in terms of overall Grand Prix victories, 3 last year, 1 in Bulgaria, Portugal, they were back-to-back, and then Italy at Maggiora, which was just probably the most special one for him, the most emotional I've seen him. And in terms of race wins for Gauthier Paulin, his last win came in Moto number 2 in Italy when he won that Grand Prix in Maggiora. So,
well, let's not forget this is a special talent as well. I think he won 2 Grand Prix in 2012, and his very first Premier Class Grand Prix at the end of 2011 as a wild card, he won, in Italy. Yeah, so, Paulin knows how to do the job. He just has to match the consistency of the world champion.
So what would happen then if Max Nagel finds a way past Tony Cairoli in terms of the overall classification? Because we've got
Frossard on the podium.
Yeah, so Paulin 45, Nagel 43, Cairoli 42, and Frossard 40.
It would just change. You would change Frossard in 4th and Cairoli in 3rd. You'd swap them over. So Frossard would be on the podium and Cairoli would be in 4th. So that would be 2 Kawasaki's and a Honda on a podium. Did Cairoli miss a podium last year?
2. Czech Republic and GB. 5th in Czech Republic overall.
Oh, he's just looking in front of the bike there.
Yeah, that's 2 or 3 times he's had a issue there like that. Yeah, 5th overall in the Czech Republic, and he was 7th overall at Manchester. He won the first race, and DNF the second, didn't he?
I mean, we've seen, you can see the ground here is pretty loose. I mean, it's very stony as well. Christophe Charlier walked back to the paddock with his gear splattered in blood. One of the reasons why he went backwards in that second MX2 moto is because he had a rock in the face. Glenn Koldenoff had a rock destroy his rear brake, so that's why he didn't figure for a podium either. So, you know, it's that stuff flying around. These bikes are getting battered.
Brossard had one on his left shoulder in the qualifying race yesterday.
And De Salle as well on his right arm.
Yeah, so, and they are big out here in the desert, aren't they? You know, we're on a big sheet of bedrock here and it breaks. It's just house
rock and
coming
oil. Rock and oil, that's it, you know.
So,
2 laps to go.
Yeah. So Gauthier Paulin then still just keeping that. Ooh, I tell you what, that was a bit closer that time around, wasn't it? As Cairoli and Nagel flew over the finish line jump, or were my eyes deceiving me, Adam Wheeler? Just try and get a long shot on Cairoli in third, but Gauthier Paulin 2.5 seconds clear of Frossard, his teammate.
I was talking to Paulin at the media event, just making a bit of an interview with him, saying, you know, are you going to feel more pressure as a championship challenger because you've been getting better, you know, every season, your 3 years in the Premier class? And he said, you know, going back from the days where he used to be, you know, racing BMX and won that world title, he had to get everything ready on one single lap of a BMX track. So he learned to cope as a young age with that kind of pressure of having to perform instantly there and then. So since then he's become kind of immune to you know, the spotlight and all the anxiety that brings. You know, we've seen him at a home Grand Prix doing things like showing off a custom painted lid, signing, you know, a multitude of autographs, and he doesn't get fazed by it. But again, he just needs to up that consistency, and Cairoli's going to have the hardest title fight that he's had since 2009 and he came into this category.
You said that last year.
Did I?
You said it the year before. And you said it the year before.
Every first Grand Prix, right.
No, I don't know, I'm just messing.
You may well have done.
But, you know, it's interesting though, isn't it? Coming into this first round, all the bench racing that goes on, people say, yep, so who's going to finish second in MX2 and is anybody going to stop Tony Cairoli? Well, you know, we've come to the first GP and I don't want to give anything away, obviously, in MX2 in case you've not watched it, but Tony Cairoli certainly not having his own way here in MXGP.
Well, we both made a reasonably good tip for MX2, didn't we? And we were almost proved correct, so without wanting to give results away. But look, you know, Cairoli just managing that gap ahead of Nagel. I think Nagel's looking at the bigger picture, second place overall. First podiums in 3 years.
You know what, I like that drone cam, but it makes the circuit look a lot darker than it is out there, doesn't it? You know, when we talked about the light last year and people saying that it was borderline, it was first effort, it was thrown together as a circuit and lighting 9 permanent poles in 3 months and a lot more on temporary stuff. But there's 32 poles now, 450 lights, 2,000 watts per light bulb. It is well lit out there. Even looking at it from our images now, you can see, you know, it's a lot brighter. I know the riders have liked it, found it to their liking in terms of what they can, you know, see. Yeah, there's still 1 or 2 shadows, but I don't think you're going to completely eradicate that. They might be able to put a few more in it and sort it out, but I think this time around, you know, no qualms. I think the track has been tougher this year, a bit more technical, a lot drier, a lot more slick. And it's been more challenging for them as well, you know. So,
well, another important thing about the lights as well, those towers are much, much higher.
Yeah.
Last year there were sort of temporary units placed on the outside and inside they were lower, and it was kind of interfering with some, you know, your vision on the takeoff. It was a little bit more sketchy, but now it's all kind of very much permanent, and the Qatar Federation are talking about more motocross events at this facility. So you'd think, you know, this is going to get bedded in and get a little bit more less rough, I'd say, every year. Last lap.
Yeah, a couple of corners to go. Takes a long look over his shoulder. Does number 21, Gauthier Paulin on that Monster Energy Kawasaki. Comes through the penultimate turn now, over Scrub Hill, coming out of turn 12. Will he quad on the final lap? I doubt it. He's not been doing it the last few laps. But it's going to be not only a victory for Gauthier Paulin, but a Kawasaki one too. But more importantly, it's a race win and the overall Grand Prix for Gauthier Paulin. Brossard crosses the line in second in what is an excellent result for both the French, both the Kawasaki's, and Antonio Cairoli hangs on for third, and he is
third overall.
Just going to be third overall on the podium as well. But Max Nagel, Adam Wheeler, a great performance from him as well. A win and a fourth, second overall for HRC. Not a bad place to be for them, is it, with the amount of money they're throwing at it now?
5 or 6 Japanese technicians here as well working this weekend, and well, they've done a great job, haven't they?
And for Gauthier Paulin, that's his first win since that race in Italy at Maggiora.
Nice.
And a GP that he won, that was the last GP that he won as well. So, and obviously that was Moto number 2, winning Moto number 2 here.
And now we can look forward to seeing him do that big double in Thailand, the Sriracha circuit next week.
And you know what? Max Anstey was jumping this quad here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tries that next week as well. But anyway, Adam Wheeler, ontrackoffroad.com. Thanks a lot. We're going to grab a quick word with Gauthier Paulin. We'll see you next week in Thailand. Thank you very much. Right, here's our winner, and he's making his way down to Amy Dargan. And I wonder if he'll be as emotional as he was in Italy, as Stephen Frossard just getting water washed out of his face by Francois Lemarié, team manager for KRT. Tough race for him, but hey, second, he's on the podium again. Here we go, here's Amy Dargan.
Gauthier, a very convincing win in Moto 2 and a GP win to bag. You must be very happy with how the year started.
I mean, on the second moto, I was just riding like Gauthier Paulin, you know. First moto, I was not tight, but I wasn't having the speed I want, and I wasn't enjoying my ride. And second moto, I had some jump like I do normally, you know, do the big 4 over there, make over the tabletop on the other side, and just riding great, you know. I'm really happy for Monster Energy Kawasaki Racing Team. Me and my teammate went good today, so it's good, you know, for the opening MXGP. Get the red plate on my bike in Thailand. I'm so proud.
Well done.
So Gauthier Paulin then records his first win of the new season and the new era of MXGP, and he will go to round 2 as the red plate holder, as leader of the MXGP World Championship. It's been a tough day and a tough weekend for him, but you know what? Gauthier Paulin, third in Moto number 1, a winner in Moto number 2. Here's the overall confirmation then of how the GP stands. Paulin, Nagel, Cairoli top 3, Frossard, Van Horbik, Searle, De Sal and Strybos in 8th, Bobryshev 9th and Roulants 10th. Todd Waters, great for him, 17 points on that Red Bull Ice One Racing Factory Husqvarna. And then Philip Arts, Leok Nichols, likewise for him, Simpson and the rest. But the Iranian rider picking up a couple of points there as well. Amaretsa Sabatifar. But the two Kawasaki's, Gauthier Paulin and Stephen Frossard, coming home first and second in that final race to conclude the MXGP of Qatar here at Lusail. The guys down there would have been expecting a bit more. Xavier Bourg on the 24MX Honda, and maybe even Ruy Gonçalves on the bike at Cosworth Yamaha. Maybe they will shine next week in the heat and humidity of Thailand. Kawasaki lead the way in the Constructors Manufacturers title from Honda. KTM, Yamaha, Suzuki, Husqvarna and TM. They'll be disappointed that Guarnieri went out in race 2. Well, we are getting ready to get down to the podium area. Wind maybe just starting to pick up again down there, but once again another successful Qatar Grand Prix here at Lusail. More light, more spectators. I think better action, if I'm completely honest, right the way down the field in all classes, women, MX2, and of course the newly formed MXGP class. And Gauthier Paulin, just like Sean Simpson last year, going down in history as the last winner of the MX1 era. Gauthier Paulin, the first winner of the MXGP era in 2014. And adds another Grand Prix victory to his tally. But Tony Cairoli, third overall. He knows it's a long road ahead, so too does Cairoli, so too does Paulin. But Frossard, he'll be looking to get into the mix as well. And Nagel, we're looking for that kind of consistency for the rest of the year. Well, the Monster Energy girls are in place, so we're just moments away for the first podium of the MXGP era, right here at La Salle International Motocross Circuit, Qatar. About a half an hour or so from Doha, under the organisation of the QMMF, the Qatar Motor and Motorcycle Federation. And of course, the man who made it all possible, Mr. Nasser Khalifa Al Attiyah, the president of the QMMF.
For the final time today, the podium presentation for the
and
newly named MXGP.
See the guys just down there getting ready. Gautier Paulin, head and shoulders above everybody else, quite literally. But third overall this weekend. Not often that you say that, and only twice he missed the podium, of course, in Czech Republic and Matterley Basin Great Britain. But Antonio Cairoli with that injured left ankle. The Red Bull KTM Factory Racing member steps on the third step of the podium here this weekend. He was second last year, remember, to Clement de Sal. But Max Nagel, HRC, the factory Honda supported team, now heavily involved in 2014. Max Nagel, first podium. He did not have a podium last year. It's his first podium since the year before, in 2012. But Gautier Paulin, though, your overall winner, Monster Energy Kawasaki Racing Team, number 21, will head to Thailand and see Rashad with the red plate and the early leader of the 2014 MXGP World Championship season. Thierry Chuzat, Suzzoni,
So, ladies and gentlemen, presentations now to the top three.
General manager, team owner for that KRT Racing outfit.
Mr. Ayad Al Saidi, the sales manager of Alphadan Automobiles.
So once again,
third place,
Mr. Ayad Al Saidi, sales manager of Alphadan Automobiles, handing Tony Cairoli his third place trophy.
And Mr. Jorge Villegas,
for his efforts this
Vice
weekend.
President, presents second place trophy to Max Nagel.
Jorge Villegas, FIM Vice President, hands the second place trophy to Max Nagel. That is a long overdue for him.
Mr. Khalifa Al Attiyah, the FAM board
there's a
director
big smile on his face. He's in good shape at the moment.
Presents the winner's trophy to.
And here's the guy that made this race all possible, Mr. Nasser Khalifa Al Attiyah, the FIM board director and QMMF president. And Gautier Paulin, the recipient of that trophy, winning here the MXGP of Qatar.
Goes to Thierry Bituo.
And he will also hand the manufacturer's trophy to Thierry Chuzat-Suzzoni.
And then finally,
and Dr.
the
Wolfgang
red plate
Schrub
as championship leader going
has an all-important red plate under his arm, and he's going to be giving that to Gautier Paulin. Dr. Wolfgang Schrub, the FIM CMS director, and Gautier Paulin, the early leader in the MXGP title race 2014.
We have our Fox Whole Shot Award
Fox Whole
winners,
Shot
and it's
Awards.
a joint win for Kevin Strybos and Mattis Caro.
So Mattis Caro obviously picking up 1 point in race 2.
Presented by Libby Hall from Fox Europe.
In Moto number 1, so 1 point apiece. Don't forget, the Fox Head Whole Shot Award means that both these guys will be given a black plate. They don't run them on the bikes, but they will at the end of the year if they're still holding that the most points. They will be in for €10,000.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem for our winning rider, Gautier Paulin.
Just handing them their black plates. Gautier Paulin wins for France. He also wins for Japan and Kawasaki.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
a successful Grand Prix here then, the MXGP of Qatar, the season opener of 2014 MXGP action. Gauthier Paulin and Monster Energy Kawasaki walk away with a championship lead after the first round. Max Nagel and HRC Honda wrap up second overall this weekend, and Antonio Cairoli, the defending champion on the Red Bull Factory KTM, will leave here and head to Thailand in 1 week's time, just with third overall. But all three guys showing us a glimpse of what we can expect in the season 2014. Of course, don't rule out Stephen Frossard, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, and maybe even Kevin Strybos, Commander Sal, Tommy Searle. Just the usual suspects as usual. It can all change next weekend, of course, at Sira Shah. But here in Qatar, it was a great Grand Prix, a successful one. And they are the neon boots and helmet of Tony Cairoli. The highlights then of MXGP Race 2. It was Mattis Caro who took the Foxhead Pole Shot Award. But behind him, Gauthier Paulin, Stephen Frossard, Tony Cairoli, Max Nagel were all right there in the end. They were all there in the hunt. No major mishaps on the opening laps, but it was the Kawasaki duo, Frossard and Paulin, who led the way, leaving everybody else in their wake. They established a 3 or 4 second lead almost immediately over the rest of the field, which was Tony Cairoli. Oh, that's a smoking Sean Simpson. That's why we didn't see him in the race action then, and having to pull out. So not a great race for Sean Simpson then, moto number 2. But Max Nagel proving why he is still regarded as one of the top riders in World Championship competition. A win in moto number 1, and obviously taking second overall here today. Tony Cairoli with the, right, we're getting ready to go down. Here's our third, second and first.
Gauthier, you are first MXGP winner of 2014. Talk me through how it all went today.
I mean, really pumped for this moto, you know, for this race. I'm here, first round of the World Championship. I'm proud, you know, all the team work hard behind me. I'm working hard also, and to put the Monster Energy Kawasaki on top of the box today, it's great. You know, now it's only the first GP for sure, but what I get, all the points you get, it's for you, you know. And living from this GP with a red plate, it's something who tells me a lot, you know, something I really love, and we'll ride. Look forward now for Thailand. We'll have a great fly, great race, great training to do again something good over there.
Thanks, Gauthier. We'll see you in Thailand. I'm going to come across now to Max Nagel. Max putting Honda on the box again today. How do you feel after the first GP is now done and dusted?
Oh, great. I mean, after the first year, I was so happy, so proud. And I could mention to have a good start against second heat. I could not find the way past, just follow him. I was in 4th position. I didn't know I still am on the podium from the point, so that makes me really, really happy, especially for Honda HRC. Also, a personal sponsor, and to all my fans. Also, I had some German fans over here and my girlfriend, so I'm just so happy to coming here and having podium after all the trouble I had last year. And now I'm going back home to Belgium.
Well, that's it. Thanks for joining us here in Qatar. We're out of time. Join us next week in Thailand for MXGP and MX2, round 2. My name's Paul Mellin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a week's time. Bye for now.